Well, good morning, everyone. And once again, welcome to another live here this morning. Let's wait for a few folks to come on. Here we go. Want to say hello. How are you doing? Okay. Kevin, good morning. And Francis Marie, Jen, Cape Breton, good morning. Brahim, dear friend, from Portland, Oregon. Rosalinda, Niagara Falls. Denise, good morning. Jeanette. And Jeanette. From our staff. Morris, good morning. North Bay. Nick, how are you? Sherry. I want to sing Sherry, you have no idea. Hello. Jabraka, Mississauga, Mary. And Georgie, Halifax. And Nellie. Good morning. Micheline, second day of the reset. Give me a thumbs up, guys, if you're on the reset. Good morning. Wendy from Markham, Brian, Geraldton, Deb from Timmins, Donna, and Jeanette. Okay, lots of thumbs up. Good for you guys. We're well started. Fran, Carolyn, Edmonton, Carolyn, another Carolyn, Donna, another Donna, Elaine, Chantal, Ottawa, Jeanette, good morning. We appreciate you guys. Cecilia from Sudbury, Linda, St. Jude, Quebec, and it's warm. Yalang, bonjour. Wendy from London, Dale, Waterloo, Georgie. I'm saying hello because I got noise in the background. I'm seeing if I can get Anna, Fran, and Park Hill has a headache. Keith, Susan, good morning. Hazel, and another Donna. 3 Donnas on with us at least this morning. Marina, how are you? Rhonda, oh, I could sing, Rhonda. I could sing. Faye, Quebec. Dorothy, Wanda. Yeah, I'm just hoping that these guys behind me they're making a lot of noise. Sandy, Diane, Catherine. Okay, guys, seems to be a little bit better. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me properly and see me properly, and then we'll get going. Julie, Vera, okay, guys, thank you very much. And Jocelyn from Kincardine. And Cole from Sudbury. Veronica, good morning. Lori Lee, good morning to you. Susan. Okay, guys, Judy. Now, news. Okay, news. In one generation, this was an article that came out yesterday, so I flagged it yesterday. And obesity rates in one generation, okay, in one generation has tripled. Okay, here's the article. Tripled obesity rates in one generation. What is the reason for this? Okay, what's the reason? Now, I've told you about generations, okay? When I was a kid, long time ago, 1950s, the average North American consumed 25 pounds of sugar a year. My children's generation, my 4 kids were born in the 1970s, and they were up to 50 pounds a year of sugar in the 70s. That was because of a big-time cereal, and people were buying the lie. We talked about this yesterday, of cholesterol. So fat-free, because that gives you cholesterol, and now they're adding sugar. You take fat out of food, you're adding sugar. It was up to 50 pounds, okay? I had cookies and ice cream as a kid too, but 25 pounds to my children's generation, my adult children now, and their kids. Okay? Their kids. Born in, most of them in the, from the year 2000. Okay? Their kids. A little bit before. They're up to 200 pounds. 50 to 200 and change. That's the reason for the triple in obesity rates. It's one of the reasons. I'm going to give you a couple of more. Tripled obesity rates in one generation. This is a big article. And they're talking about, they don't even tell you why. They're asking why. Why don't they ask me? I would tell them why. I've been observing this for a long time. And of course, you have the introduction of seed oils, vegetable oils, hydrogenated oils, a big factor in obesity, but even more than that. And you guys know this because what happened in our society, they changed sugar. It was sugar. And sugar is sugar. But the worst thing they did is they made a man-made sugar and they made it in a liquid form called high fructose corn syrup. And I'm going to tell you, my friend, fructose. If you want to know why a bear gets fat, that a bear prepares for hibernation, what do? They eat up to about 30,000 blueberries a day. Fructose. In nature, it goes directly to the liver. It stores fat. And I'm telling you, my friend, this is the number one reason we see a tripling in obesity rates today. A tripling of it. Isn't that crazy? But, the world doesn't understand that. High fructose corn syrup is the antichrist of sugars because of what it does to the body and how it destroys the liver and how it destroys the pancreas and how it creates an epidemic of obesity today. I mean, folks, listen, you know me, I've said this for a long time. Leave the planet in the 1970s and come back in the year 2022 and you will be shocked at the size of people. Go to your local mall. You don't have to be a rocket scientist. Go to your local mall, use your eyeballs for observation, and you will see that I am exactly right. And yet the world, it doesn't understand these things. Fat makes you fat. And cholesterol is the boogeyman. No, it's not. High fructose corn syrup is the boogeyman. It's in everything. It's worse than sugar by far. Why is that? Because it's fructose and it's liquid. What do I tell you all the time? God meant for you to eat fruit, not drink it. God meant for you to eat fruit and not drink it. And when you drink it, you see, even when you go into cereals, go to your cereal aisle. And frosted flakes are not good for you. Okay? If Cheerios has a heart on the box, it's because you're going to have a heart attack if you eat that stuff. But what you don't realize is the sugar they use there is high fructose corn syrup. It's liquid fructose. It's the sugar that the food industry loves and created. They created it in a vat. They created it in a laboratory. It's not natural. You think it is? Oh, from corn. High fructose corn syrup. I know. But your body don't even know what that is. Your body doesn't metabolize it properly. It sends it to the liver so fast it makes your head spin. And for me, when I read an article like this, that obesity rates have tripled, does that surprise you? Doesn't surprise me. I've been screaming like John the Baptist for a long time about these things. Triple obesity rates. And, it's craziness. It's another reason, guys. It's another reason. It's why I want to pump your tires all week on doing the reset. If you haven't started, start today. Start tomorrow. Tell us that you're going to start, though. Tell us. We really want to know. You know why? Because we want to keep you accountable. We want to pump your tires up. We want you to stay to the course. It's worth it. Just your liver, I talked about this yesterday, in the first week, when you will not consume any high fructose corn syrup whatsoever, do you know how good that is for you? One of the things, when you have a foreign substance, because that's really what it is. High fructose corn syrup is a foreign substance. It messes up your triglycerides so quickly. And people don't realize that. So when you do the reset, one of the advantages of the reset, yeah, you're not having any sugar, but you're not having any high fructose corn syrup. And metabolically, that is so good for you. Okay? It's the iceberg. Okay? Let's go back to the Titanic. Okay? The Titanic hit an iceberg that was the size of an hotel. Problem with the iceberg, I've been to St. John's. Okay? And I had never seen, before I went to St. John's to do a conference, it's got to be 7 or 8 years ago now. Okay? I enjoyed it very much, by the way. When are the folks in St. John's going to invite me back to do a seminar? But you know what I saw? In, I think it was September or October, I saw icebergs. I'd never seen an iceberg before. Man, massive. But what's underneath the water is a lot worse or a lot bigger than what you see on the top. Right? So the iceberg that the Titanic hit, remember, if you have metabolic syndrome, you're on the Titanic, you have insulin resistance, and it's food, my friend, but it's very specific. The worst thing is the iceberg of high fructose corn syrup. So when you're a carboholic, okay, my name is Tony and I'm a carboholic. Because if you go even into your grocery store and look at bread, now bread turns to sugar rapidly anyways. I don't care if it's 50, 100, or 200 grain bread. Oh, Dr. Martin, it's whole wheat. Oh, I don't care. It's going to be sugar in a nanosecond. But then they add sugar. Almost every bread, they add sugar. Guess what they're adding? High fructose corn syrup. The obesity rates have tripled. Have tripled. And metabolically, it's not just obesity. You can be skinny as a rake and have insulin resistance. Excuse me. Your body just doesn't have the ability to store fat like most people. Most people, their body has an enormous... Remember what insulin does. Insulin is a fat storing hormone. And guys, if you remember my book, Serial Killers, 2 hormones that want you dead, insulin and cortisol, or my book, The Metabolic Reset, okay? I got a picture of a jail guard there, okay? And he's sitting there, and there's behind the rails, behind the jail, behind those rails, is fat. And in front of the jail cell is a man with his name insulin across it. And insulin does not allow fat to escape. You have to understand that. As long as insulin is present, it doesn't allow fat to escape, because its job is to take glucose. If you don't have muscles or not enough room in them, and if there's no more room in the liver, it will create fat cells. The problem with visceral fat for a lot of people, skinny people, they don't even know they have it because they can't see it. Like, you look at somebody that's got a lot of weight on them, is obese or overweight. Well, you see it. You go, oh, okay, I get it. But you see, this is why, like for me, I'm huge on looking at blood work for this. Because I can tell you if you're insulin resistant just by your blood work. Never mind if I get a look at you. Well, of course, today, I'm not in practice anymore. I can't observe individual patients anymore. I'm not there. They're not in my office, but I can tell by their blood work. If their body is playing havoc with insulin, if insulin is creating havoc within the body. It's a fat-storing hormone. But if insulin becomes a bad neighbor, you know what I mean by that? Remember, insulin works at the cellular level. And it really particularly muscles, liver cells, fat cells are the 3 areas primarily where insulin operates. That's why I always tell people, look, get strong. Have some muscles. Have muscles. Why? Because muscles are bins. They're bins. And you have more ability to store glucose in those muscle cells. Got it? But insulin resistance is when there's no room in the inn. Okay, we just came through Christmas. No room in the inn for Jesus. Well, no room in the inn for glucose to be stored in muscle cells. And then there's no more room in the inn of your liver cells. There's no more room. So what does the body do? The body creates fat cells. Because that's what insulin does. And insulin will always do its job until it can't. And that insulin resistance is your cells going, you know what? Would you get out of here? You're a bad neighbor. You're always coming here. Why are you here all the time? But if you're a carboholic, guess what? You have insulin resistance. Your cells don't like insulin because you used it too much. You know me, and use it or lose it. Don't worry about your pancreas. Don't worry about insulin. You'll never use it or lose it. Okay? You don't want to use it. You want to send it to Hawaii on a holiday, and because it's going to change your life. You have no idea. What was the article here? Let me just see if I can get it, because I posted it yesterday. This was by a Christy Leong, medical, an MD, okay? She says, health conditions associated with insulin resistance. Now, you and I talk about this all the time. So none of this is surprising to you, but I posted it yesterday, okay? Because she wrote an article about it. She says, here are the health conditions associated with insulin resistance. Now, remember, insulin resistance starts in the kitchen. It's what you eat. It's the choices you make. If you eat meat, eggs, cheese. I know. Doc, is that all you ever talk about? Yeah. But let me tell you why. Because when you eat steak, hamburger, chicken, okay, you don't need insulin. You need a little bit, like this, a little bit. When you eat an egg, you don't need insulin. Did you know that? Well, you need a little bit. Every time you eat, you need some. But when you don't need very much, it's exactly how your body is meant to operate. So guys, listen to me, Linda, listen. Insulin resistance is the overuse of insulin, and at the cellular level, your cells don't respond. They don't. Insulin's knocking at the door or ringing the doorbell. Hey, open up. I gotta put sugar in your cells. And they go, I can't stand you. Get out of here. But you know what happens? Insulin says, I don't care if you can't stand me. I'm going to keep ringing the doorbell. So your pancreas makes even more insulin for the same food. And your cells resisted more, and this pancreas makes more. They don't care until the day that you become a diabetic. On that day, it takes a long time. Diabetes is the last thing that happens in the body as far as blood sugar goes. Because your body, guys, your body is so smart. If you, look, you know me. I quote the Bible all the time, but it's because the Bible even talks about this, that you're fearfully and wonderfully made, okay? Your body's unbelievable. If you think that just happened, well, I'm sorry, I disagree with you. I respect you, but I disagree with that. Like, it's too complex, it's unreal. Your body is so smart, it says, sugar. Sugar? I can't have sugar in the bloodstream. Why? Because it's going to destroy blood vessels very quickly. So your pancreas goes, secrete insulin, get it out of there, to traffic cop. Hey, you, out. You can't stay there. See, that's how your body operates. It doesn't want you to be a diabetic. It's the last thing it wants, because it knows that sugar is so toxic. So when someone tells you Oh, Dr. Martin, I just eat in moderation. Your body's not meant for sugar. If you don't believe that, empty your 5 liters of blood. Take it out of your body, and on the worst of days, you're going to have less than a teaspoon of sugar in your blood. Why? Because sugar is so toxic. Your body is smarter than the world out there. Your body is smarter than the food industry. And when you see someone walking around and you see the triple obesity, just understand that your body, that is a protective mechanism. It is. Your body is just trying to get sugar out of the bloodstream, and it must store it. And that's what it does. It stores it as glycogen, fat. And even skinny people, they can get insulin resistance big time. But they don't see the fat. They don't see the sugar turn to fat. They don't see it. It's invisible to the naked eye because it's visceral fat. It's around their organs and they don't know. They don't have the protective mechanism. Obesity, to some extent, think about it, is the body's protective mechanism. Now, it's not good for you. But the body would rather you have fatty everything than you have diabetes. It would rather you have fatty liver than diabetes. It would rather you have visceral fat than diabetes. Because diabetes, listen, if you don't think diabetes isn't serious, it destroys everything. And thank God for medications, okay? Thank God. They do some wonderful things in medicine, including a drug like metformin. But I'm going to tell you something, okay? Let me just tell you something. It was never meant to be used for long term. Because if someone is a diabetic, type 2, okay? The cure is food, not drugs. Drugs never cure anything as far as diabetes is concerned. A diabetic never goes into remission without changing their diet. I don't care how many meds they take. It doesn't matter. As a matter of fact, and I always told my patients this, meds have an expiry date. Because people come in, I saw tens of thousands of patients that were on metformin. My specialty in a lot of ways was the endocrine system, hormones, including insulin, especially insulin. I was a food doctor. When you're a food doctor, that makes you a hormone doctor. Insulin is a hormone. It wants you dead. If you use it too much, it'll kill you. And thus, Dr. Leong said in an article yesterday, she wrote an article on health conditions associated with insulin resistance. She went diabetes. Of course. Then she said heart disease. Yep, heart disease. Yep, because of what? Triglycerides. Inflammation. Low cholesterol. Cancer. Insulin resistance and cancer. Do you know that, listen to this. Listen to this. Less than 50 years ago, 1 out of 50 people in North America in their lifetime would get a diagnosis of cancer. 1 out of 50. You know what it is today? In your lifetime. I'm not talking about death from cancer. I'm talking about the diagnosis of cancer. You know what it is today? 1 out of 2. 1 out of 2. You think we've made progress? Well, we've made progress in a lot of areas. I agree. But when it comes to cancer and heart disease, we haven't made progress. We're losing the war. That's what sort of infuriates me. It infuriates me. Because we're not winning the war, we're losing the war. Because we're looking for love in all the wrong places, my friend. We're not looking to food for cancer. We're not talking about insulin in cancer. We're not talking about insulin in heart disease. We're talking about cholesterol. Cholesterol, cholesterol, cholesterol. I want to shake people. Screaming in the wilderness. Reading Matthew chapter 3 about John the Baptist coming on the scene, screaming in the wilderness. That's me. I've been screaming for 50 years. I still got a voice. Amazing. No, but guys, I just get, I get worked up. And, Dr. Leung, she's thinking smart, smarty pants, that girl. I appreciate her. She writes this article and says, yeah, health conditions associated with insulin resistance include diabetes, heart disease, cancer, fatty liver, polycystic ovarian disorder syndrome, PCOS, sarcopenia. Yeah, imagine muscle wasting. One of the side effects of insulin resistance. It's food, my friend. Obesity, of course, stroke, dementia. Here's what she said in the article, too. She said, you might have insulin resistance and you have no symptoms because you don't even know it's there. The doctors don't test for it. They're not looking at it. They're only saying, hey, you're not a diabetic, don't worry about it. Or you're not what they call a pre-diabetic. My friend, you send me your A1C. Send me your A1C. That's a 3-month average of your blood sugars. When doctors don't take an A1C test, I just want to shake them. When they don't order it, your blood glucose is fine. No, it's not enough. Blood glucose is the last thing that will go south. I want to know about your A1C. And I want to see your triglycerides. And I want to look at your cholesterol, your HDL especially. Because that tells me everything I need to know about the state of your liver and about insulin resistance. A1C, I love it. Ooh. Okay. I got excited again. I didn't mean to. My blood pressure went up. Okay. Okay, guys. I'm going to go through some of these articles that have come out. Unreal, some of the stuff. It's not surprising, but it's fascinating nonetheless. Guys, I'm aiming at you. I'm aiming at my audience. I want you to understand how your body operates, what you can do to control the situation, as much as possible. Okay? As much as possible. And that's why the reset, guys. So good for you, those who have started it. I understand it's different. I understand you're going to get resistance because people have been duped. People have been brainwashed. People around you, your friends, your family, your spouses. What? How many eggs are you eating? That can't be good for you. Yeah, it is. Okay? Yeah, it is. Trust me. Trust me on this one. It'll be worth it. I can promise you that. Okay. Let us know if you're signed up for the reset. Okay? I don't know if our student there at the University of Oklahoma, Jordan, if she's got enough volunteers. Maybe, Jordan, you can let me know if you're watching this show, if you got enough volunteers for your study. We're the Reset group, our private Facebook group, is helping Jordan finish her master's degree, and she's doing her thesis on the reset. And it's just a questionnaire, and your name won't be used, and blah blah blah. Okay, so guys, I love you. I love you. You heard that before? Okay, no, I mean it. Okay, talk to you soon.